indeed a result for Snapple, but Google has noticed that this website is infected. And if you try to go there, just by loading the page, your browser and your machine will get infected. So Google throws this warning up here saying, this site may harm your computer. Right? So Snapple, as well as many other websites, don't have software running on their web servers that will protect all the users of that web server from getting infected. And when this happens, basically, even if you click on this link, Google will say, sorry, I'm not actually going to let you go to the site. I'm not kidding. This site's going to harm your computer, and they will not let you get there. So this is very, very damaging for a business. They start losing thousands of dollars in revenue right away because people just can't get to their website anymore. In addition, Google shares this list of infected sites with popular browsers like Firefox and Chrome. Microsoft has a separate list of infected websites that they maintain. And if you were to try to go to such a website with Firefox, instead of getting to the website, you'd get this red screen of death here saying reported attack site. So prior to Dacient starting, there was no software or service that websites could purchase to help protect them and their users from getting infected. So basically, the product service that we developed is a monitoring and quarantining service for websites to protect them from getting infected and to protect these infections from getting distributed over the internet. We provided this by building a website anti-malware platform. With regards to, so that's how we help them. How much do we charge for the service? It really depends upon what kind of website it is, how complex is the website, how big is it, what kind of pages do they have, et cetera. And the differentiation is, well, why aren't they going to buy from like, a variety of other established players? Whatever happens to be. Well, because we help protect the web servers, not the PCs. And of course, more and more competitors will enter the space over time. But basically, because of the fact that we've just been gathering more and more data, just in the past couple months, our platform has identified over 10,000 unique malware infections where we're building a lot of data and telemetry, and there's kind of a network effect that occurs with this kind of business that will position us well against potential competitors. So anyhow, that's an example of how we answered these questions at Dacient. Of course, in other companies that I've helped off the ground as well, we've had to answer the same questions. For those of you that are either in business, you have to also constantly answer these questions over and over again to make sure that you're relevant to your set of customers. And of course, if you're starting a new business, it's extremely important. So that's a little bit about the plan and what you need to keep in mind. Of course, you might need some cash to get started. And so how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, I'd say that first of all, when you start off your careers, you might start off working for somebody else, and that's actually a very, very good thing. I mentioned that when you work for someone else, you should first think about the experience, the learning that you get, right? So you should work to learn. Once you've learned, you gain knowledge, and if you put that knowledge to action, you can use that to help start a business. Where do you get money to get started? Well, you could just run to mommy and daddy right away, and they might be a bit skeptical. And even if you try to, say, run to potential investors in your space, in your domain, they might be skeptical initially. But if you do this in a way where you work to learn, you find out what are the problems in the space, what are the problems that you're uniquely positioned to help solve, and you start by investing your own money into helping build your product and service, that tells not only your folks, your friends and family, or other investors, it basically tells folks you're really serious about this. You're so serious about this, you're willing to put your own hard-earned money into it, and it's often a very good place to start. Once you've invested your own savings and taken some steps towards building your business, then going out to friends and family might be a reasonable thing to do before you go to other investors. And the reason that you might want to do that is because when you do go to the other investors, in addition to having invested your own time and money and invested your own effort, if you can show them that, hey, look, my friends and my family also deeply believe in me, right, that they're ready to invest as well, it provides an additional level of validation when you go out to other investors. So that's a very reasonable order to go in. Now, of course, not a lot of this might be slightly biased towards a high-tech business, but there's many types of businesses out there, right? In high-tech businesses, very often the business model isn't always necessarily figured out on day one. And so, given that's the case, you need a relatively savvy type of investor to help contribute to the effort. But if you're, say, starting a business in an area where the business model is relatively well understood, let's say you're starting a restaurant or a laundromat or whatever it happens to be, a flower shop, right? Those are businesses where the business model is well enough understood that you can go to a bank and you can get a very good business loan, right, to help get your company off the ground. One thing to also keep in mind is that business loans come with decent interest rates. You should not, of course, attempt to use your credit card as a business loan to get your company off the ground, because those interest rates are just way too high and will kill you. So anyhow, that's depending upon what kind of business you're getting off the ground, that might be something to keep in mind. And then once you've pursued these avenues, then you can look for angel investors, people in your field that have built successful businesses on their own and are ready to pay it forward and contribute and help other people build out their businesses. And then when your business gets to a certain stage, if you're looking to for growth opportunities or to expand, say, faster than competitors or whatever, you can then approach venture capitalists and whatnot. And then the kinds of ways that you raise money and the kind of background and success metrics that you need to have up to a certain point, the expectations grow over time. So in any case, there is an order of potential investors that you could pursue. Let's see. So I was talking about networking earlier. I was talking about being honest and building trust, and networking is a great way to do that. I'll just talk about a couple do's and don'ts of networking as you work to build relationships. Some of the things that you should definitely do is take a genuine interest in people. People are very smart. If you're not genuinely interested, people will detect it right away. When you're speaking to somebody, try to understand where are they coming from, what are the problems on their mind, right? They may be problems that you might be well positioned to help them solve. They might not be, right? And you should just be honest and upfront about that. Who knows? Maybe if you can't help them directly, you might know somebody else that is more well positioned to help them. So just make a referral, right? Pass people on. Focus on taking the genuine interest, understand people's problems, and do what it takes to help them, whether or not it's within your domain. Doing so helps build trust. So that's those are some of the do's. In terms of some of the don'ts, you should absolutely not attempt to use people in any way, shape, or form. People will also detect that right away. You should, another thing that you should not do is you should not attempt to please everyone, right? Because I don't know if you guys, there's a famous quote by Bill Cosby, and he said, I don't know what the path to success is, but the path to failure is to try to please everyone, right? So instead, you need to figure out, well, you have a limited amount of time. You need to figure out who you're best positioned to help and who you're not, and leave it at that. You should not, even for those set of folks that you believe you're in a position to help, you should not overcommit. Start with making a small commitment, absolutely nail it, and then scale up one step at a time. You should, in your dealings, always focus on quality and not quantity. Just because that'll allow you to just execute and knock goals out of the water, and build